you guys? Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, welcome. My name is Meg, and today we are doing a Get Ready With Me Glam Holiday Edition. So today I just wanted to go ahead and do a chit chat, get ready with me, sit down with you guys, do my makeup, talk some makeup. So I thought that would be fun to do. So first, I already have my primer on and I use a Too Faced Hangover Primer. I like to let it settle into my skin for a few minutes before I put foundation on. And this is a really great primer to use if you have dry skin. And in case if you guys are curious about my skin, like products are how they're performing on my skin, if you are wondering if it will work for you, I do have really dry skin and sensitive skin, and I do have a lot of redness and some breakouts. So moving along to foundation, I have my Lancome Tan Idol Ultra Wear. This is a up to 24-hour wear and comfort transfer resistant foundation. And I think this video is going to go up before my review and first impression. So if you want to know my thoughts, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. And I know I totally butchered the name of this foundation. It's rather sad because I took French 3 years in high school and I think for 2 semesters in college, but I suck at pronouncing things. Like, I know how it should sound in my head, and then like something gets jumbled as when it's in my brain and then coming out to my mouth. So I know I totally said that wrong. I honestly think like my tongue is too big for my mouth, as weird as that sounds, because I just feel like a lot of times my tongue is just like getting in the way of me talking, and I say stuff in English wrong all the time, so I'm special, what can I say? So I went ahead and applied my concealer. This is a Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Fair. And then I also just set my under eyes and eyelids with some RCMA translucent powder. Before I set the rest of my face, I want to try out this product that is new to me. This is a Ciate London Dewy Stick. This was sent to me a while back in a box. If you're not familiar with that, it's a program through INFLUENSTER where you answer survey questions, and if the company feels like you would be a good match to test products, they will send you free product to test out. It doesn't cost anything. If you're interested in signing up or checking it out more, I will have a link down below. But I did get a box with a few Ciate London products in it, and this was completely just like messed up because I am in Arizona where it's really, really hot. So needless to say, this had melted to the top of the lid. And so I've just had it in my refrigerator kind of ever since, and today I finally like kind of pulled out the product from the lid and placed it back into the tube, so that's why it looks very messy, but this is the packaging. So the product just does like roll up and down, and I'm curious to see how this looks on top of foundation. I'm kind of nervous that it's gonna pull my foundation or separate it, but I also felt like the foundation would have covered it up if I would have put it on my foundation before, but I tested this out on my hand and it looked really pretty. And it just gives you like that wet, dewy look. So why not? Before I go any further, I'm just going to take this beauty blender and I'm just going to pat this into my skin. So there's definitely a nice shine to my face. So I'm really happy with that, and I'm glad I finally tested this out. I think it's just a product, kind of no matter where you live, that you should probably keep in your fridge. So I am going to go ahead and set the rest of my face really fast. So what I like to do is that I just dip my wet sponge into the powder and then I just press it into my skin. I do it lightly at first to spread the product out, and then I go back and I really work on pouncing this into the skin, and this is how you are going to get your foundation to last a really long time. Alright, so I did jump ahead another step and I did my brows off camera because I can't really talk and do my brows at the same time. So I did that after I finished setting my face, and this is precisely my brow in the shade 4. So this is by Benefit Cosmetics. It's like a very fine pointed pencil. And I do like this. I just wish that it was a little bit more ashy or taupey toned because I don't feel like it's quite exactly my color. I feel like it's still like a little bit too red for my natural hair color, but it works for now because I've been a little bit tired of the dip brow. I feel like it's been a little bit too intense. So I've been liking a little more of a natural brow using the pencil. So now I'm going to go ahead and contour. Lately, I've just been into just bronzing my face and calling it a day, but I feel like this dramatic eye look would look better with contour. So I'm taking this Tarte Pro Glow in the shade Sculpt, so we can sculpt out them cheekbones. And then this is a Morphe M435 brush. I will say with the Ciate London product, it did move stuff around in my face. Even though I set the powder, I noticed that there was like a patch of foundation missing there. So I had to like reapply with the sponge, so it looks a little bit patchy. So I think that that product would look really beautiful and really nice on maybe bare skin, or if you were using like another cream, like a BB cream or something for like a natural look. It does still show through the camera nicely. I just have a feeling, even though I set my face with powder, once I put a highlight on, it will disrupt the product further. All right, so for blush and highlight, I am going to go ahead and use this Tarte Partey blush and then my Becca Moonstone highlighter. I can just see in my mirror like how this dewy product is just really messing my face up. Even though I said it, like my blush is really sticking to where it is. I feel like it's just moving around on my face. Ugh. Like, look how harsh my blush is now. Like it. You will just have to move on and try to make it look as best as it can. So that's disappointing. Anyways, how are you guys feeling about the holiday time that's coming up? Are you guys excited? Do you have a lot of stuff going on? I know sometimes holidays can be like a sad time for people. So, you know, just know that there are people out there in the world that do love and care about you. I know it can be easy to feel alone. But for me personally, I'm excited for the holiday season because if you guys can kind of see in my background, I'm in the midst of moving. So while this move is in process, it just worked out that I can go home for the holidays. So like, I'm just really excited that we have the time to do that. Last year I had to spend my first Christmas away from my family, like my parents, my grandparents, and it was just like kind of sad and depressing a little bit. So like, I'm really happy and like thankful that I get to see them this year and I don't have to go 2 years in a row without seeing them. Before we move on, I'm just going to set my face with my Urban Decay Chill Makeup Setting Spray. This is supposed to be cooling and hydrating. So yeah, I'm from Ohio and I moved here to Phoenix, Arizona 2 years ago, but I was luckily able to fly back to Ohio in December to see my parents. But last year I had to go without seeing them, and it was also kind of sucky too because my husband works for airlines and holidays don't exist to them, so we celebrated Christmas like 2 days early. So it was just nice, thank God for FaceTime, but I'm just really excited to go home and see my parents and spend some good quality time with them. So today for makeup, we are going for a glam holiday look. This is gonna be inspired by Luster Luxe because I have been sitting on the Dose of Colors collab and I like it. I think this stuff is gorgeous, but I think it just also came at a time when other stuff came out, so I haven't really played around with these or done like a lot of tutorials. And Harpoon is calling my name. It's like this mossy green color, so I'm definitely incorporating that into our look today. So if you have this, you're in luck to see a tutorial with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with that. For my base increased colors, I am gonna be using my Jaclyn Hill by Morphe palette. If you guys are subscribed, I know you're probably terribly sick of me using this, but honestly, like, it has like every color that you could want, and the transition shades that are in here are honestly amazing. So if you haven't picked this up yet, like, I highly recommend it. I know a lot of people have an issue with Morphe, but I mean, this palette really is killing the game. So as always in my transition shade colors, I am going to use a mix of Silk Cream and Pooter which are these two shades right here. And then I think I'm gonna end up building up with these two, which is Buns, which is like honestly one of my favorite colors in this entire palette, and Mocha. Probably take a lot of Mocha and like the tiniest hint of Buns. So yeah, if any of you guys are moving across the country or moving away from home for the first time, I just want to give you guys some advice on that. It's like really scary and overwhelming, especially if you're moving somewhere where you know nobody. And by the way, this is Real Techniques 203 blending brush. Highly recommend this brush. It's amazing. It's super soft and it blends really well. But yeah, 2 years ago, I moved away from home, like seriously, for the first time. Before, when I was in college, I was always like less than an hour away from home, so I don't really count that as like moving away from home. But I truly moved halfway across the country, quite literally, with my husband. And I'm not gonna lie, if you're moving somewhere far away and you don't really know anyone, it's really hard. Thankfully for me, I did have a cousin down here, so that helped a lot. So real talk, unless if you're like super extroverted, it's honestly really going to suck and it's going to be like a hard time the first couple of months that you move, because you don't really know anyone, especially if you're living in an apartment complex. Like, you might think that it's easy to get to know people, but people, at least here in like the central Phoenix, East Valley area, they're so just not friendly. Like, I remember trying to talk to people that looked like they were my age in my apartment complex, and I would say hi to them or be like, hey, how's it going? Like, and it was just crickets. Like, I would get weird looks, or people would just say nothing. Like, it was rare if I actually got a reply from another person, so that was just like extremely discouraging and honestly really depressing. Until I started working that I finally made friends here, and it took me a long time, because I think another thing that fed into like my anxiety and like my depression when I moved here, it wasn't that I was like homesick, it was just, it sucks when you move somewhere and you don't have any friends, is more of what it is. And I think it took me a longer time to find work because I just finished college, so I was looking for that entry-level position, which if you are in college, it's going to be a struggle most likely, but just know that someone out there is going to be willing to give you a shot and give you a chance. And I encourage you guys, if you're about to graduate or you're graduating soon, apply for as many jobs as you can, even if you don't think you're qualified for it, because you don't know like what their minimum guidelines is, as shitty as that sounds, or like how desperate they are to hire someone. So I know like a lot of the jobs I was applying for, like they were wanting 5 years experience, but that is probably their ideal candidate, and someone with that kind of experience and qualifications is probably in a more advanced job, so they're not going to be starting out at an entry job, because they're going to be at a job where they're making more money, if that makes sense. So anyways, my advice to you is, if you're filling out applications, shoot for the stars. The worst thing that can happen is no, and just know that it might take some time to find work, and that is okay. So like I said, it wasn't really until I started working that I made friends here, and I'm really super sad to leave them behind. So I'm just a little bit nervous about trying to make friends again where I'm moving. But honestly, once you do a big move once, I feel like it really isn't that big of a deal to move somewhere else. Like where we're moving next, we literally know no one, like no family out there, like no one. But I know that I moved here and I made it and I survived through it. So I know I can virtually live anywhere and make it through again. And it just helps that we're gonna be in a climate where we wanna be, and it's actually a location where both of us think that we're going to be happy. So that's a plus. Now to darken things up in my crease, I'm taking Central Perk and Abyss. So I am obsessed with this brush. As you guys can see, it has an oval shape to it. This is, I think it's Lerma, it's a 201. I got this in one of my last Ipsy bags, and I've been obsessed with this. So I just took the two darker colors, the black and like the deep dark brown, and what I did is I just barely stuck this right into the corner of my crease like this, and I just blended it out. So as you guys can see, we're like rather smoky looking right now, but of course you don't have to use those darker colors or use as much as I did. I really did want this to be like a truly smoky eye. Then I also figured you guys didn't need like 10 minutes of me blending my eyeshadow, but like I thought you needed like 10 minutes of me talking about moving and how to make friends. Anyways, so now we are moving on to the start of the show, which is Harpoon from this Dose of Colors palette. This is a collab with Katie Lusterlux here on YouTube, who this look is inspired by, and then also Desi Perkins. Sure you guys know about them. And Harpoon is the one that you use wet. So I'm just going to dip the tip of my finger into my water, and then I'm just going to get it on my finger. This is what the color looks like. It's beautiful. And then that mirror is dirty. So I'm going to work on applying this to the inner corner and then just fading it across my lid. That's just like so beautiful. I don't know if it's even like registering on camera how beautiful this is. You will still get payoff with this being dry, but you get the best results with it being wet and applying with your finger. They did make that clear like in their video talking about these products. So for me, I'm putting this slightly into my crease so then when I open my eye, like you can still kind of see the color. Like this is like a lazy man's cut crease, I guess you could call it, instead of carving it out with concealer. And by the way, that's a trick to getting into your inner corner with your finger, is look the opposite direction, and then you can really get your finger in there so you don't have to worry about using brushes or anything like that. I'm just taking what's left over and putting it on the outer corner of the lid. Whoo, this is beautiful. Did have like the teensiest bit of fallout. And then this just kind of looks like it's foiled on the eye, which is like really beautiful. I wonder if turning this light on will help. Oh yeah, you guys can see how beautiful that shade is. Obsessed. I love it. I haven't really used Harpoon or showcased it before, so I'm glad that I did. Moving along, time to smoke out the lower lash line. So to do that, I am mostly going to be using Mocha and then probably a little bit of Central Perk. So Mocha was this, now you can see, this shade here, and Central Perk is this shade here. So one of my all-time favorite brushes is by Morphe. For the lower lash line, and it is the E36, as you guys can see. It's just like a nice little pencil brush, and it works perfectly for blending the lower lash line. I feel like Morphe brushes for me, honestly, are hit and miss, and it's either you like them or you don't, or like they're good or they're bad. Like the one I used to contour is like really scratchy and rough, but I have other brushes that are really soft, but then again, like this M433 is great for blending, but it's on the scratchier side. So that's why I just feel like there's some inconsistency with their brushes. So now I am just adding some Central Perk, which is like the darkest brown in the palette. And I'm not gonna bring this as far in as I took Mocha. And then I'm also gonna make sure that I'm connecting this outer edge to, can I like hold on to anything in a video ever? I swear this doesn't happen when I'm not filming. I'm gonna, you know, connect it to what you put in your crease. Now I'm going to go in with the M432 by Morphe. It's like a really flat brush, good for packing stuff right underneath your lashes. So I'm just gonna take the black and put that under the lashes and then smudge it a little bit with the E36. Because, you know, it's so important to have a flawless blend under your lower lash line, because that's where everyone's going to be paying attention. So I am going to blend out this other lower lash line, put on some mascara, and be right back. And then for my lower lashes, I just want to do a shout out to MAC really fast, because I use the Extend Play Giga Black mascara, and I felt like it made my lower lashes look amazing. I do have like a couple little smudges, and I gotta clean up with a Q-tip, but we are going to finish off the eye. So what I am going to do is, this shadow needs to be used wet. I'm gonna use Sue's from the palette, which is the lightest color here. So this is Sue's, this is Harpoon. They're both supposed to be used wet, and the other two you can just apply with your finger. What I'm going to do is dip back into the Jaclyn Hill palette really fast, because I forgot to do this earlier. I'm going to take the two light shades, a mixture of them. I'm not going to hold the palette up again, but a mixture of in Light and Beam, and I'm just gonna use that to highlight under my brow bone and then slightly in the inner corner area also. Because we are going all out for this holiday look. Gotta look fly at the holiday parties that I'm not attending. This is the finished eye look. Alright, so final steps is the lips. So I'm sure you guys know it's not going to be any surprise that I'm doing a nude lip today because I just feel like we have so much going on with the eyes. I feel like a nude lip will complement it and balance it out. And I just already feel extra as it is. I didn't want to put like a red lip with this, although I'm sure it would look very nice. It's just not in me to do that today. So thought we were done with Dose of Colors. We're not. We're going to top with the Dose of Colors Desi X Katie lipstick in the shade No Shade. And to top it, I am going to use the Over the Top lip gloss. And this is my favorite. I'm going to be so sad when it runs out because I think like once they're out of this stuff from this collection, like it's gone forever kind of situation. And then, just to be that much more extra, I forgot to do a step that I've been loving to do lately. So I am taking a fluffier tapered brush, and this is a Luxie 522 tapered highlight brush. I'm taking Merame from the collection, and again, I thought that this was going to be too dark for me. It definitely is for highlighting, like on my actual cheekbone, it is too dark. What I like to do is just tap it in here, tap off the extra, and then I just pat it onto my cheekbone, and it gives me like the nicest, most subtle, kind of from within glow, and I've really been obsessed with doing that lately, just using it as a blush topper. Oh my god, it is so muddy over here where I put that Ciate London stick. Oh, that pisses me off. What the heck is this? So, lesson learned. Not gonna use that again on top of foundation. I kind of had a feeling it was gonna be a mistake using that, but yeah, that's definitely super patchy. But we live and we learn, so I guess I will try to be avoiding that shot in pictures. But you guys have made it to the end of the video. I know that this was super long and rambly, and trust me, I cut this down as much as possible. So it is still long, it is still super rambly, but trust me, it was originally a lot longer. I don't know how to shut up. Why I have a YouTube channel. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this really smoky, super fancy, glam holiday makeup. Leave me a comment down below letting me know what kind of videos you would like to see from me. I would really love to hear from you guys. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.